if creation is imperfect, by the way, am I perfect? No. Are you perfect? No. Is anything in the world perfect actually? No. The only one who's perfect is who? Is Allah. So now here's the problem, here's the philosophical problem. The problem is, if I see a beautiful painting, I say the artist is creative. But then how can I see something imperfect and then say the maker is perfect? How can I say that it's perfect? Because we're saying everything declares how perfect Allah is. But everything itself is not perfect. So how is it an evidence that the maker of it is perfect? And so it's hinting at the future. There's a subtle in the surahs where the tasbih is mentioned in the future tense. Something in this surah is coming that's going to tie into the future. Because the tasbih is also mentioned in the future. So we're going to keep an eye open for that when we study Surah Al-Jumu'ah, because the tasbih is hinting towards the future, right? So we'll see how that manifests itself. Now, let's talk a little bit more about how is everything doing tasbih. I've given you the basic overview of that. Mufassirun talk about haqiqah and lisan al-hal. What does that mean? How can you say the atheist is doing tasbih? How can you say that mushrik is doing tasbih? They're not doing tasbih. How can you say the shayateen are doing tasbih? They're not doing tasbih. How can the Quran say whatever's in the skies and whatever's in the earth is doing tasbih and will continue to do tasbih when the contradiction to that exists? For everyone, believers have always been the minority, disbelievers have always been the majority. They do the anti-tasbih. So what does this mean? Allah is here referring to lisan al-hal. Lisan al-hal means the way that something is. So let me put that in the simplest way for you. If you see a beautiful painting, doesn't it speak or declare the creativity of the artist? Right? If you see a marvel of engineering, isn't that a statement about the company that made it? Right? So your work speaks for you. You understand that, right? Your work speaks for you. An amazing building speaks for the architect, right? An amazing railroad system or highway system speaks of the government that put it together, or the engineers that put it together, right? If you cooked a delicious meal, it speaks of your culinary skill. Everything Allah created speaks of His perfection. You understand that analogy? It speaks. That's called lisan al-hal. But then comes a much more difficult question. If creation is imperfect, by the way, am I perfect? No. Are you perfect?